All right. Welcome back for the first time in a week and a half to Belmont Bunch, as we are now in the All-Star break. So we're going to go over the 4 games, and we're also going to kind of summarize the first half for the Islanders, who are in 3rd place in the Metropolitan, currently in a playoff spot, though they have teams right up their ass, and we'll talk about that. So we talked about this is the most important week of the season, probably right before the All-Star break. Got a lot of really big divisional games. And how would the Islanders react to this? Don't look at the other scores. Not well. The other thing is the Isles did not put in much of an effort this week, so we didn't either. So that's why we've got our wonderful paper board, because the budget has been slashed by Islanders corporate.
We had to throw out the whiteboard.
We had to throw it out. We couldn't even afford to have it in the house. Don't ask us. We were renting it. Yeah. So let's talk about this game. At the Coliseum against the Rangers, coming off of having lost to the Rangers, but then also beaten the AHL Detroit Red Wings 8-2. The Isles then would play the Rangers at the Coliseum for the first time since 2015. And Bailey would get us going in the first period. Tom Kuhnhackl actually has a great play, wins the puck down low, very late in the period, final minute of the first. A first period which the Islanders actually very much outplay the Rangers in, although what have we seen this year? It doesn't matter because we can't score. Bailey, though, I think he closed his eyes and just ripped it, and I told you earlier in the season, that's when he scores. Don't overthink it, Josh. So, Kuhnhackl, amazing job on the forward check of stealing the puck below the goal line. Throws it to Ross Johnston right in front of goal, who falls over strategically, and the puck falls back to Bailey, who puts it through the net, and it kills somebody in the first row. Bailey was really pumped. The team probably sensing how big a game this is. Very much, the celebration was pretty lively. Also, Johnston, apparently, it wasn't a strategic fall. No, it was a strategic fall. I thought he just fell on his ass because he's not amazing at hockey. But apparently, Bailey was calling for it. And so even though Johnston was 2 feet in front of the goal by himself, he played it back to Bailey, who then slapped it in. Hey, whatever, it counts. I'm not going to complain about it. Watching us score is like watching somebody watch paint dry. Speaking of which, new paint too. We're in a new studio. So it's 1-0 at that point, end of the first. Play a great first, really good first. Kind of ran the Rangers out of the building. And now in period 2, watch as the Islanders do not get a shot on goal for the first 10 minutes and suck mightily. The Rangers would get a power play goal. This had to be reviewed. So on the ice, it's called no goal. The puck shot from the point that Varlamov saves, but it bounces off Zibanejad and it's going towards the net. And I believe it's Pulock who slaps the puck away from the goal line. Yes, I walked off set to confirm that was Pulock, and it is Pulock. So much like the referees reviewing the goal, I disappeared for 10 minutes, and now I come back with bad news.
The goal, in fact, was a goal.
Yeah, and it's funny because the first 3 looks none of them look conclusive. Of course, they save on the MSG broadcast, the Islander broadcast, the definitive image for after they've already started play again. And I'm like, I'm turning to James and I'm like, what an awful call. None of those angles were definitive. This is ridiculous. And then they're like, here's the definitive angle. And I'm like, all right. So it was a goal. So Zibanejad gets that, and we're tied at 1. The Islanders do escape the rest of the period, a period where they were awful. But I would say the last 5 minutes, they started to take some momentum back. But that's not good enough when you get outplayed extremely badly for 15 minutes and you don't get a shot for 10. So into the third, Islanders would fall down 2-1. A ton of momentum for the Islanders. We're on the power play after D'Angelo takes a penalty. And a lot of chances. The Islanders, although they did put up a good shot total for this game, as usual on the power play, as we call it in my group chat, the New York Islanders passing play, because nobody ever shoots the goddamn puck. And puck trickles out of the zone right to Tony D'Angelo coming right out of the penalty box. He walks in on 2-on-1. Devon Toews does not pressure him At all. I wanted to say in the slightest, and then I said at all. Sometimes I choose words, and then my brain says no.
Sometimes, though, we've seen from Taves when he puts too much pressure and he gets outplayed, you know, so...
Yeah.
Like, I think...
So maybe he's just bad. No, I'm kidding. I would say for this year, for the most part, it's actually been overall a little bit worse than last year, but he was phenomenal last year. This year he's been a little bit rough, but you know, hopefully, you know, last year he came up in December, so maybe it's a little bit different for him, you know, having started the whole year now. So it's a marathon, not a race. So. Though it is also a race, a run. So you got to get away from Columbus and Carolina. Anyway, Tony DeAngelo roofs it. Really good wrist shot. Really poor control from the Islanders, allowing that situation to develop. And it is 2-1. But about halfway through the period, Anthony Beauvillier throws a puck into the zone, bounces off the backboards, comes right out in front, and he tries to knock it into the net. He swings and he kind of misses, but it hits his skate and it goes in. But there was no kicking motion, so it's a goal. And I was like, the two goals we have in this game are Ross Johnston falling on his ass strategically and Anthony Beauvillier accidentally scoring. This is the Islanders' offense, everyone. So it's 2-2 at this point, and you're just like gritting your teeth and you're, get a point. And with 1 minute left, Derek Brassard, your sin bin of the week, spoiler alert, cross-checks Jesper Fast, who then somehow flipped his own skates over his head because that's how hard he got hit. This is a scenario, I was talking to James about this. I think this is a 2-2. I think this is a 2 for cross-checking because, yes, bit of a stupid play from Brassard there, yeah? It's kind of like he wanted to demonstrate the textbook definition of a cross-check, but also Jesper Fast wanted to demonstrate the definition of a dive. But the referees only called one of them because I don't know. Yeah, of course, immediately the Rangers score. Kreider on a rebound that Varlamov couldn't really do a ton about because the Islanders cannot control their own crease area because our defensemen have been slacking. And we lose 3-2 and we don't get any points, and this is the worst loss of the season. And now I bring you to the worst loss of the season against the Capitals. And now on to the worst loss of the season. You know, the previous one was the worst loss, and then this is the worser loss. I want to cry. Anyway, so Ovechkin would get the Caps started in the first on a little bit of a breakaway. Not much Varlamov could do. Nice snipe by Ovechkin. But the Islanders would respond really well. Beauvillier steals the puck in the offensive zone, slides it over to Nelson, who one-times it in. Nelson's got a great release, so yeah, just give Nelson the puck in the slot, and it's a goal. Cizikas would score on a deflection. A few minutes later, he would try to throw it in front to Brassard, and this would ramp off of Gudas, I believe. Gudas' skate through Holtby's legs. Not much Holtby could do on that one. So it's 2-1 Islanders. Catching into the second period, Eberle on the power play goes to the backhand, down low behind the goal line, trying to reel it across the crease to Nelson for the one-timer, and it hits Holtby's left leg on the skate. He doesn't have the pad all the way down, so it goes under, off the skate and in. Thank you, Braden. You suck.
Wow, that was really harsh.
Well, I mean, he's not the reason they won. The reason they won, well, first of all, was the Islanders being terrible in the third period, and also Ilya Samsonov coming to steal your crease, Braden. I think Braden is going to be in Seattle come next year, but we will never talk about that. Taves, end of the second period. Taves collecting his third point of the night.
Higher energy, man. Higher energy. High energy.
Taves collecting his third point of the night.
All right, Taves.
Really, really solid night for the guy that we just kind of bagged on a little bit for his defensive play. But his offensive play was fantastic in this game. And he did the Kuznetsov, and everything is fine. And then we won 4-1, and that's it. That was the game.
Yeah, and then after the second, right? They just...
Yeah, they didn't play the third. Yeah. So what happens? By the way, Komarov, really good pass on this play. Komarov is somebody that I think has been playing a lot better, and I don't care what you think about it. Uncle Leo has been playing better. You have to say that since he was benched for the 5 or 6 game stretch a month ago, he's been very much engaged. He's been playing a lot better. He fits on the 4th line with Clutterbuck out. Komarov, it's more of he got benched for a little bit, and I think he saw that there's a lot of competition in the lineup because we've got so much talent. He saw the amount of competition in the lineup. Actually, it's probably the opposite. He was probably like, wow, we have no talent. I have a shot at this. He is a heart and soul, gritty guy that isn't going to do the pretty stuff, but he's going to hit people and he's going to be good on the penalty kill. For him to start getting a few points, which he has done more recently, is really nice to see, but at the same time, we still need more scorers. But it is nice to see him pitching in when he can. You'll probably notice Barzal, there was a distinct lack of Barzal in these first 2 games. Teams have been kind of keying up on him because they're like, hey, they have one good player. Well, I mean, Nelson's been playing pretty well. And Beauvillier, a bit of an awakening here. Also, great play on the first goal. I already talked about that. But the third period, I'll just go over somewhat quickly to get to the main point of the Islanders can't play with a lead and are really bad when they play from behind. So they're just bad right now. Those are the 2 options. They're good while they're tied. Nobody cares. By the way, the Taves Kuznetsov thing, everybody shut up about that. Everybody shut up. That is not the reason they lost. They lost because they cannot guard the front of their crease, and they also have, to me right now, maybe a little bit of an attitude problem, which is a prelude to Barzal getting benched in the Ranger game. But maybe they need this break kind of to reassess where they are, because they need to also remember, yes, they have been a good team for now a year and a half. Very good. Nobody gives a shit, to be perfectly frank. And to be perfectly Edward, I think that was an awful joke.
I'm cutting it out.
And to be perfectly honest, they have won 1 playoff series, and then they got swept in the second. So, they haven't done much, and I think Trotz needs to remind them, hey, guys, you haven't done anything of note, really. I mean, you proved people wrong last year. Great job. You need to do that again, because everybody's going to start to doubt us again because we can't score. I'm sorry, I'm really putting off talking about the Capitals' goals. All right, so let's talk about the Capitals' goals. Hagelin's first goal, not his first of the season, I mean the goal that started it off. Hagelin's goal, not as much on Varlamov. This is another, we can't cover people right in front of our own net. This is a gigantic issue that we are not strong in front of our own net. And you would think we have tough guys like Mayfield, although he commits a penalty every 5 minutes, and Boychuk, and Pulak, they're big guys. You would expect them to be able to clear the front of the crease. They have completely failed in that endeavor. Noah Dobson's been playing well. I wanted to throw a positive in there. Hagelin's not too much that Varlamov could do, but awful from us. Not me, sorry, the fans are innocent. The third goal, this is a shot from the point. No, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the Tom Wilson goal that got tipped in. The third goal is Ovechkin. Ovechkin skating right through our defense. A little bit of bad luck, although he did skate through everyone, so you kind of, deserve the bad luck at that point, where he gets past the last defender and throws it off of, I believe, Pulak's skate. Not on purpose. At least I don't think so. I can't put it past Ovechkin. He's a really good goal scorer. He passed Mario Lemieux all-time in goals with this goal. It deflected off the skate and went top corner. So I'm not really going to get too much on Varlamov for that one either. I will get on him a little bit for the Tom Wilson goal, although I will also get on the defense. I'm going to get on everybody. I'm very easy to get on people because I'm very, very small. Okay.
They never see me coming.
They never see me coming. So, the fourth goal, shot from the point, slight redirect, I guess, from Wilson. Once again, Islanders completely failing to clear people from the front of the net because, yes, Varlamov gets a little bit screened here. I do think he needs to make this save. Maybe less from the perspective of the actual shot on goal, but more from the situational, we need you to make a save, buddy. Please, we need a big save. And, you know, Grice was pulling those out in the Carolina game and the Ranger game for sure. And it seems like Varlamov, and I talked about this with James before the video, maybe being overworked a little bit recently and going back to the rotation saw a little bit of success. You know, we got 3 points of the 4 games that, of the 2, I'm sorry, 3 points out of the 4 possible points in the 2 games that Grice played. So I think maybe a little bit of a, going back to the cycle could do us some good. And the 5th goal is all Josh Bailey. Josh Bailey, puck in your own zone, tie game, you're in the midst of a gigantic collapse. I would like you not to pass it into the slot very softly right onto Jacob Vrana's stick, because he's good at hockey. Yeah, and he puts it top corner. And we're down 5-4. And then one empty netter later to give Ovechkin the hat trick. And the Islanders have their worst loss in recent memory. Like, this might be the worst loss I've ever seen from them. Not exaggerating. You gave up 5 goals in the 3rd period against the best team in hockey, who you were putting into the dirt through 2 periods. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. That's one of the worst losses I've seen ever. Bright spots, Taves 3 points, Beauvillier 2 points, Cizikas is at 10 goals. That's cool. We scored 4 goals, but they were all on Holtby, and Holtby's not good, so we don't have to worry about that. He was an all-star with his .897 save percentage. He sucks. He's in full-on, like, oh, I'm bad now. He could turn it around because I think he'll end up not a Capital after this season. Because his contract is up, and Ilya Samsonov is putting him to shame. And I dropped Ilya Samsonov in fantasy to pick up Alexander Georgiev for this game, and I hate everything. Let's move on to the Carolina game. I'm gonna be sick. All right, let's talk about Sunday night. We lost. All right, let's talk about the other one. All right.
But Tom, you didn't write the other one on the paper.
Okay, this game, Andrei Svechnikov, perfect pronunciation. He would get the first goal for Carolina on a play, really interesting play, because there was an angle that I saw, it was being put around Twitter, that it very much looks like it was offside. Don't know why the Islanders don't challenge it. Also, it's a weird play because they set up the one-timer after Jordan Staal runs over Jordan Eberle, steals the puck, and they slide it across to Svechnikov, who rips it, and you just see it go in, so you're just kind of assuming that he ripped it top corner. And then watching the replay, man, I feel bad for Grice, because this is, first of all, Grice 31 out of 32 was incredible in this game. And for the one goal to be such a weird play, like, it hits off Dobson's stick, most likely breaking Dobson's stick, and it's just, from there, it's just basically like a ground ball with one of those super bouncy blue balls that you...
What are you saying?
Let's get rid of that. So when it hits Dobson's stick, it starts bouncing very hard on the ice, and some, you know, funky gets past Grice, who's not, you know, he's expecting a fastball, and he gets a changeup basically, and so there's not much he can do about that. So it's 1-0 on this offside goal that shouldn't have. Oh, I'm sorry. My salt is showing again. Actually, I should be more angry at the Islanders for not challenging that. So it's 1-0. It was a goaltender's battle throughout the night. And late in the second, Mayfield throws the puck on the net from the point. Good job throwing the puck on the net. Start doing that, team. Anyway, puck gets through. Reimer makes the initial save, and then goes to collect the puck, and the defenseman standing over him. It feels there's a bit of a miscommunication. It's just out of Reimer's reach, but he dives out, and it looks like he's going to pull it back in with a stick, and the defenseman knocks it further away from him, and it's just like, oh no! And then Anders Lee puts it into the empty net, and once again, your Islanders offense, everybody, putting the puck in an empty net since actually, we'll call it since this year, our offense, actually last year. We'll call it since last year. Our offense has been terrible for 2 years. We had a lot of really doofy, stupid goals. Stupid goal, fell on his ass goal. The other team gave us the goal. Other team gave us the goal. Other team gave us the goal. Really weird stuff that shows that our offense sucks. So, Grice, phenomenal. With about 2 minutes left, he makes an amazing one-on-one blocker save. Puck jumps just past the post. Overtime, we give up 2 breakaways. As James pointed out, we're supposed to be good on defense. Just giving out chances left and right in overtime. And then we would go to the shootout, where Barzal and Beauvillier would score theirs. Later on in the shootout, when Greiss made a few stops in a row, we would go 8 rounds. I already said that. And there were chances for the Islanders to put the game away, and nobody could score in the shootout. We didn't have Bailey because Bailey had to leave early because, you know, he was sick because he must have seen a replay from the giveaway in this game. I'm fine. And so Anders Lee has to take the shot to save us. And he does that thing where he shoots it right at the goalie's pads. Anders Lee, not known for his shot. Watch as 2 minutes later I will talk about how good his shot was in this game. Not known for his shot. Always tries to put it through the goalie's legs. And you know what? I think they've noticed. Because every goalie, as he skates in, is just like... the pads are stuck together, and Anders is like, maybe I could squeeze it through. Oh, no, I didn't. So don't do that. Although, good job scoring the goal. You're on pace for a little under 30. Try to get 30, bro. All right. Yeah, the Crimson Chin. Power play didn't really factor into this. Our power play is awful. Our power play has, I think we talked about this in the last video, it's devolved into everybody watching Barzal skate and nobody else does anything right.
We were hot. The power play was really hot.
To start the year, yeah, we talked about it. Yeah.
And I remember you even said, like, it will come back down.
Didn't realize it'd be this bad.
Yeah.
Gonna be honest, we got a new assistant coach to cover the power play and the penalty kill. Our penalty kill's been fine. Our power play has been a little bit less than fine. But yeah, this is a tough one because they did not play very badly. This was a tense playoff type game. Good game. They get a point in at least, you know, at least better than this one where we outshot the other team by 12 shots and we lost in regulation. But I mean, at least got a point. Anyway, let's move on. Welcome to Islanders Rangers, also known as the game where everything I said previously is dunked on by the player. Josh Bailey. Josh Bailey doesn't want to play because he's bad. Goal and 2 assists, best game of the season. Who else did I make fun of? Anders Lee has a terrible shot. Slap shot, one-timer scores. Who else did I make fun of? Did I make fun of anybody else that did well? I guess Beauvillier the last couple weeks has been in the sin bin and he's woken up, but like I'm just calling it as it is, bruh. Anyway, the facts don't care about your feelings. All right, let's talk about the game. Bailey. What?
I was going to say the power play.
Yes, our much derided power play, rightfully so. Bailey gets us on the board in this one on a redirect. Josh Bailey is so good, he redirected it backwards, knowing it would hit off a Rangers skate and go in. That's how good Josh Bailey is. So it's 1-0 there. Dobson gets the assist and Brassard gets one as well. The second goal, also a power play goal. That's amazing. I don't know how this works. Getting the things that I want. Barzal, so Bailey passes to Barzal. Barzal does a little, goes for a little trip. 2 Ranger players follow him, and he's like, "You morons!" He yelled. He did say that. I saw it. And he passes it to Beauvillier, who now has a wide open slot, and he rips it top corner. And I'm now regretting picking up Alexander Georgiev in fantasy because everything I do is wrong. So I'm just going to keep picking up the goalie of whoever's playing the Islanders, and we'll win the rest of our games because nothing I do in fantasy works. So that is the first period, and we'd be up 2-0 after 1. And right about now, you're probably thinking, hey, what? And yeah, what? Thomas Greiss is kind of the only reason we won this game. Yes, we get out early and we don't play badly in the first, although we do give up some power play chances. Thomas Greiss, incredible save on the power play before we had even scored a goal. Sliding across his crease to the right, and then a pass to the middle where nobody's covered. And Greiss sliding to his left, getting a piece of it with his glove, and it trickles just wide. He was great in this game. He was the first star of the game. And yes, we talked about the Beauvillier goal. Anders Lee in the second. Similar play from Barzal. Goes for a little trip. puts it to an uncovered Anders Lee because everybody keeps doubling Barzal, so he keeps finding other people. And he rips it home, and it's 3-0, and it's like, oh, the route is on. But late in the second, Ryan Strome scores going around the net. The puck just kind of falls to him, and he rips it top corner. But it is the Islanders review guy who had fallen asleep for the Carolina game, fair enough. Missed the Svechnikov play. But wakes up. A little bit harsh, by the way. He's been good the whole season. I just thought that's the first time all year I've had any issue with whoever's our replay guy. I'm just going to never learn his name and just be like, he's a god. We'll never know his name. Tom, you could look it up on Google. Shut up. Anyway, yes, that is reviewed. I think that's a turning point of the game because if the Rangers score there, they probably find a way to claw back in. So, Nelson will get one in the first half of the third. Great pass by Bailey through Beauvillier's legs. And it's 4-0, and everybody's, we're having a hearty laugh. We're finally getting the things we want. We're scoring. We're beating the Rangers. We're being outshot by, what? And Thomas Greiss standing on his head. And then Scott Mayfield with, God, now I can't remember the player. Because, they're not going to show it in the highlights because NHL doesn't want any violence shown in the highlights other than the massive hits. I'm trying to remember who he stabbed. Stabbed. Like,
Mayfield, out of nowhere, pulled a knife out on the ice. Stabbed a player. Got a double minor.
He only got a double minor. And the cop said that was good enough.
Yeah.
All right. This is serious. So it's 4-0 Islanders. And Scott Mayfield and Brendan Lemieux are kind of mixing it up. And Scott Mayfield, from the regular camera angle, looks to have stabbed a man just in the gut. And there's blood everywhere. And Scott Mayfield gets 4 minutes and life in prison for stabbing. But if you look at the other angle that they watch, even on the Rangers broadcast, that goes to the side and shows you about how hard he hit him, it looks like he scooped his logo up a little bit. And Brendan Lemieux and the New York Rangers, once again sell another penalty. They do score on both ends of the power play to make us sweat a little bit. Scott Mayfield also misses an empty net. He is also in the sin bin. Yeah.
In case you couldn't figure it out.
I mean, because of this. Yes, that is a massive dive, and yes, Brendan Lemieux is a loser. Once again, Ranger fans could argue you shouldn't put yourself in that position. That's fair. In the other game, Brassard didn't have to cross-check him. And I even agree that it probably is a penalty on Brassard. I just think it's also embellishment. That's probably where I disagree with Ranger fans. They'll probably say it wasn't embellishment. And we talked about Panarin getting 2 for embellishment earlier in that game, and I don't think that was embellishment at all. So the referees, moral of the story, the referees have no idea what the hell they're doing.
But you do.
That's do. Trust me, a man who's never played professional hockey or organized hockey.
Yeah, but you have a YouTube channel, so...
Yeah, I have authority. It's funny because the rivalry hasn't been super heated in recent years because it's kind of been like the Rangers are in a bit of a rebuild and the Islanders have been fairly good for the last 2 years. And the Islanders have actually kind of owned the Rangers recently in terms of head-to-head matchups. Obviously, this year the Rangers lead 2-1 to this point. But I don't know, I feel like a little bit of a resurgence in distaste for the Rangers because of some theatrics. Say what you will about that. That's just my opinion on some of it. Like I said, the Panarin embellishment in that game, I don't think it was embellishment. But yeah, so that's this week. So the Owls go 1-2-1 in a very important stretch. They don't play very well, hence the slashing of our budget by Mr. Ledecky. Just kidding, Mr. Ledecky. You're great. And I slashed my own budget. That's what happened. Anyway, I'm going to end this video now. All right, so that is this week. And here is kind of what I think about this week. There we go. It never happened. That happened. That did happen. Oh, look, it's an empty. Stars of the week. Actually, let's start with the sin bin. It's a little bit easier to pick the sin bin this week. Sin bin, Scott Mayfield for stabbing a man. very serious. And also Derek Brassard, both of them for putting themselves in that position. In both cases, I think the Ranger player sells it. But the Islander player should not get involved with that in the first place. So a little bit of discipline for you. Yeah. And a little, I mean, I'm not going to have him in the sin bin, but Barzal getting benched for some giveaways. And, didn't really show up a ton in this week until the back half where he got a few assists in the Ranger game. But, Scott Mayfield, Derek Brassard, sin bin. Three stars of the week. We're going to go with Josh Bailey, 2 goals, 2 assists. I gave him some stick. And 2, we're going to go with Thomas Greiss. Also, this isn't in any particular order. Thomas Greiss plays 2 games, plays 2 fantastic games. We get 3 out of 4 points. So if you look at the small sample size like that, it was a good week. Just ignore the 2 losses in regulation. Anyway, and the 3rd star, I was thinking about Nelson, but Devon Taves did have a 3-point game and generally looked, for the most part, better. Had a little bit of a rough defensive game. I mean, it was 1 play, really, that I'm talking about on that. But good point production week. We need to see more of that from our defense. We also need to see more of not letting people walk right in front of our net from our defense. So that's the stars of the week. That's the video. Like and subscribe. And that's it. All right. I'll see you.
And we need to see more of you at the Islanders game.
Yes, please. Oh, no, I thought you meant on the channel. Yeah.
No.
All right, bye.
No, please don't subscribe if you already subscribed.
All 3 of you, unsubscribe now. Oh, wait, that's you, me, and my mom. All right, bye.
Bye, Mom.
I hate the Rangers announcer, by the way. He's a stupid ass. He makes fun of the Islanders all the time.
Really?
Yeah. And also, he's not good. He's past his prime. He's like in the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's been calling the team for like 20 years, 30 years.
So you're ageist.
Huh? That's not why I hate him. I hate him because he's an asshole. He's an asshole because he's old.
Yeah.
Oh, no. All right.